So I just want to remind everybody that all these questions were submitted to the board, and by no means does your moderator have anything to do with this.
You're doing good, though.
So the next question, we're starting with Mr. Savino. Plans are being proposed for the Mattituck Hotel, a 125-room resort complex with a 300-seat restaurant event space located at the former Capital One headquarters property on Main Road. What is your position on this project, and do you feel it fits in with the character of the community?
Excellent question, and whenever there is development, we all have questions. I have not seen the proposed plan. Being in the lodging business, because I also run a bed and breakfast at my home, I do know that accommodations are limited here. In Southold town, we don't have enough accommodations. What we do have is a lot of day trippers. I think if we were to be able to convert day trippers into overnight people, I think it would reduce some of the traffic. I'm hoping with 125 rooms, Dave, you're mentioning, I don't know the exact plan, I've never seen it, but with 125 rooms, and I've seen the parking lot there, I envision that a lot of cars are going to come off the road and be parked rather than being on the road, which I think will be helpful to us. Having another restaurant, I don't believe would be an issue. I think Mattituck, Southold in general, can use more restaurants. We've all gone out to dinner, and sometimes we can't even get a seat because every table is filled. So I would say that I'm in favor of additional lodging and rooms, but I would love to see the plan. I would like to know that whatever's designed fits in with the rural character of the community, that parking and planning is done appropriately so that it doesn't affect traffic on Main Road. But overall, I would say because there's a lack of lodging, that it probably will help the community to get the day trippers off the road and keep them overnight. We know that the overnighters for our local businesses and shops are actually gaining from the overnighters. The day trippers are not spending their money, they're out here, they're clogging our roadways and leaving, where the overnighters are actually helping local businesses.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Mr. Neely, you're at.
As someone who's lived in Mattituck my whole life, I know I don't share the rosy picture of Mr. Zanino that project goes in. And I can basically envision myself trapped in traffic. Probably I have to get a pillow and a blanket to get past McDonald's. So I'm not opposed to business development, but again, we've discussed this earlier about a lack of a plan in terms of how we grow and how we prosper as a town. Because of a lack of a plan, because we kicked it down the road, every hamlet and every village is under attack of overdevelopment, and it's going to cripple us, and it's going to be a not so nice place to live. I'm sorry, Mattituck, Laurel, we really live in heaven, and people realize that. On my campaign trail, I've talked to many young families that have moved from out west, and they think it's heaven here, and they look at me like I'm crazy. Do you know that it could be where I come from is what it's going to turn into? And they understand because they fled those areas. I'm sorry. I love where I live. I don't want to move, and I don't want my neighbors to move. I have my family and friends here, but I feel that it would be a disaster in terms of how it would be our quality of life. And again, I'm not opposed to business, but because of the lack of planning, we're in these situations where every situation has to be an eminent domain lawsuit. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. And I want you to know, as somebody who's a practice board member, somebody that believes in fact-based decision making, we have to start talking about these long-term situations and how people have called. I've talked to a developer. He said, grab me by my cuff of my sleeve and said, do you know that Southold has some of the most lax zoning and coding of all of Suffolk County, and that's why you guys are going to be overrun?
10 seconds.
So I don't want to be overrun, and I want to be part of the leadership that changes that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Mr. Williams, you're next. Would you like the question repeated?
No, thank you. proposed hotel there. It's very concerning to have a project like that so close to my business. And I think we would need to closely look at the size and scope of the project. There is an existing building there that used to employ 173 people in town. The building has been vacant for coming up on 10 years now. I'm a businessman. The comprehensive plan does address vibrant downtown areas. What's going to go there? There is a shortage of lodging. Maybe a hotel makes sense. We would have to look at the project. We'd have to look at similar projects in other towns to see what experiences they have, both positive and negative. But having day trippers come out, that does add to the traffic. If we had people come out and stay at the hotel for several days, it would give them an opportunity to support our local business community, to eat in restaurants, to experience what the North Fork has to offer. We are a victim of our own success. We've been marketing tourism for many, many years, and everybody is coming out here. It's where do you go? The businesses community is happy that we have people to support our businesses. As a resident, it's frustrating. There is more traffic. It used to take me 10 minutes to get to work. It's upward of 20 minutes in season. Again, nothing is easy.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Durasky, same question to you. Would you like to repeat it?
No, thank you. So I share the concern of overdeveloping our community. As I mentioned, if every parcel in town is developed to its maximum allowable intensity, our community is done. Now, this is one of the reasons that I think a comprehensive build-out analysis of Southold town is so important. Because it's not just this hotel in Mattituck. There's a big hotel and special event restaurant project in Southold. There's rumors of other ones throughout the community. And I think our fixation on individual projects at the expense of a larger discussion about what the priorities of our community are and how we best reflect them in our code, it gets lost. My opponent Greg referred to us as a victim of our own success. I am unwilling to accept that victim mentality of letting things happen to us. I reject that mindset. It is our responsibility as leaders of this town to implement code that reflects the priorities of our community. For too long, we've just been waiting on the sidelines. We know this is a big parcel there. We know there are big parcels with big allowable density located throughout this community. We can't keep waiting for a project to be submitted to the planning board for us to look at taking action here. Now, I need to see what the particulars of this project are. There is a big site there, but we need to see. We need to see what's allowed in the current code, what possible variances they're looking for, and how that reflects the priorities of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Durasky. Well, good news. We're all primed up on this direction. We'll talk.